Domestic labor is a concept within feminist theory that includes paid work, unpaid work, and emotional labor that occurs in the home. That's the Harvard Home Economics Department's definition of domestic labor. I would like to modify the definition to reflect the modern day experience, or at least my domestic experience. Domestic labor is not just an economic concept within feminist theory, but something that every person in a household now engages in, even if their engagement involves active avoidance. You might be thinking, oh, is this aging American Girl doll with a musical theater degree, no kids, and a Maserati's worth of student loan debt about to talk to me about home economics? Is this Nancy Reagan's Corpse Revive, but just like more annoying and poor? Maybe. To be fair, I'm not qualified to talk about a lot of the things I enjoy talking about. I'm not a climate scientist, I'm not an engineer, nor a surgeon, although this past year, I've wished to be all three of those things instead of myself. I wouldn't even say that I'm a writer, but I was a nanny. I looked after the kids of a mega Manhattan real estate broker, a tech exec of a social networking website you have heard of, a founder of a ballet slipper line who lived on the top floor of a skyscraper in Columbus Circle, and a slew of writers and performers who make some of your favorite art. This minor backstory has a point. I have years of my own value as a domestic laborer and my knowledge of the value of that work sitting in my bones, ready to strike at any man or person who is unlucky enough to live with me and asks me to do the dishes, cook, or clean. And here's where it gets complicated. I'm often not asked to do any of those things. I just do them. I exist better in a clean environment. It's not a huge burden for me, but I really appreciate being appreciated for it. Cooking and cleaning and childcare are tasks that are essential for the functioning of households and for communities. In my experience, and maybe yours, some members of your household may value those tasks more than others. Disagreements about the actual essentiality of tasks like cleaning can lead to not just horror movie toilet basins, but also to the perpetuation of gender and class inequalities within societies. Throughout history, domestic labor has been primarily carried out by women and marginalized groups, often without much recognition and rarely with just compensation. Women who work outside the home and women who labor solely within it are both burdened when domestic labor is undervalued. This Labor Day week, I'd like to make a case for why cooking, cleaning, and childcare deserves a bit of your attention, economically. You may have noticed that I've paired this essay with a lot of disparate footage of me doing menial household tasks, cooking, dishes, sweeping, sewing. This is from days over the past year where I felt kind of sad about doing these things. Wasn't I built for more? Why am I taking out the trash? Why am I not running in a wolf pack in Siberia in a golden silk dress? Doesn't anyone want to sponsor my Siberian silk wolf run? Why am I taking out the trash again? Am I just a trash person forever? Something I realized after watching the mundane footage of this year is that domesticity doesn't have to be mundane. As you can see, I began to spice things up for myself when I cooked my dinner in a wig. In your own home, there are almost no rules. You can cook or not cook, clean or not clean, as long as one character trait is always present: respect. In your home, with whoever you live with, whether it's your partner, your roommates, your kids, your parents, if you show a baseline level of respect and appreciation for the work everyone puts forward, there's less of a chance resentment will build. Respecting other people is just a matter of not feeling entitled. This means, ideally, you pay people their worth for the services they give, and you support them and remedy the situation when they express to you that they believe their worth isn't being accurately represented. If you can't afford to pay someone their worth, you might have to accept that you are not entitled to that service. I was always happy to go nanny at the homes where I felt my being and my time were respected. and I quit any jobs where I could tell that wouldn't be the case. Technically, persons employed in domestic service in private homes are covered by the FLSA, or the Fair Labor Standards Act, which sets a federal minimum wage and overtime pay, among other things. But as you can imagine, this work is difficult to actually regulate since there's not a single common workplace and the employees exist independently of each other. Over the past few years, domestic workers and independent contractors in other industries have been advocating for better rights and recognition. You can follow the current domestic workers movement in the United States through the National Domestic Workers Alliance. They post updates on social media about the many state legislatures where they are currently fighting for wage and safety protections. Oh, and yes, Harvard does have an entire archival portion of their library dedicated to home economics. Now that I know this, I think you can safely expect a part 2 to this episode. Enjoy your domesticity this week, and if you'd rather be running with the wolves, just accept that you've found YouTube instead and it's too late. See you later. This has been a Thursday Morning Report.